One issue I've found out in the field is that people don't know how to update the device name inside of a TEC 3000 controller from Johnson Controls. It's a little bit hidden, but let me show you here what I'm talking about. Under unit name, that is just what you'll see inside of the controller, but what we want is the device name. We want to change that. As you can see, it's a very generic name that we currently have. One of the first things we have to do is back up the settings inside the TEC thermostat. I'm going to show you the model number I'm using for this. I believe it's a 3622-14, as you can see right there. The thing that you're going to need here for this process is a USB stick that you can put in the port right here. And something special to note is that it cannot be USB 3.0 or higher. So what we need is a USB 2.0 stick. So the older the USB stick you have, actually the better for this situation. So you just plug it in the side there. And we're going to go down to update. There we go, to go to backup. And we're just going to check confirm. And we just wait until it finishes. This will save the file to the root of the USB drive. Just so you know, when backing up or modifying anything, if you want it to get back to the TEC, it needs to be on the root of the USB drive. So I'm going to show you right here the issue that I'm talking about, where when you pull it into Metasys and you discover it has that generic water source heat pump or TEC 3000 generic name. While not an issue, since you can actually rename the unit after you map it out, it makes when you scan the trunk easier to read if you can actually give it a unique name. And as you see right here, we have that generic name right there. We're going to fix that. Alright, so that file that we just got backed up onto the USB, bring it over your computer, open it up. It should be a .csv file is what you're looking for, and it should have the name of the thermostat on it. What I'm doing here is did Control F to find a specific cell called device name inside of the file, and you'll see right here is where we would modify it. So where it says water source heat pump xxx dot device name. So I'm going to change this to water source heat pump 01-13 for address 13. It's just how we do it. Feel free to obviously rename it to whatever you want. Here's unit name again. This one isn't as important. This one is only something you will see inside of the TEC display itself. So I do it just since I'm already in here, I might as well. So alright, so now that we've got our modified file, it's on the root of the USB drive. We're going to put it back into the TEC as shown. And then we're going to go down to the update right there. And now we're going to do restore, and if your thermostat's correct, you'll see that there is your files right there. If you don't see your files there, make sure that it's on the root of the drive. So right when you open up a USB, it should be right there. You can't put these files inside folders. You can put folders on your USB stick, but the TEC will not pick up any files inside a folder, so it has to be outside on the root of the drive. So it's restoring here. I cut out some of the stuff here, so it's actually going to go faster in the video than it will when you do it. I think restoring is something like maybe 3-4 minutes, if I remember correctly. But as you can see, we're powered back on finally, and we're going to go back down to update, and we're going to see that we can actually have changed the device name, the important one. Yep, and there it is. That's what I modified in my CSV. Just to make sure that I'm not lying, I'm going to show you exactly now what it looks like when I scan for my TEC on my network trunk. I'll restart it here. There we go. We got water source heat pump 01-013. Now it's easy to identify. If you've ever worked in a building with multiple trunks of water source heat pumps and things get mixed up, this can make your life easier to identify what each device is than based on just solely what the address is. So, not something that's absolutely necessary to do, but it'll make your life just a little bit easier. It makes your project look a little nicer, and people will not thank you right then, but people down the line will definitely thank you, for sure. I'm just mapping out a couple of points here just to show you it's a real thermostat. I guess it's probably a little overkill, but this is just on my workbench, so some of these points won't even read correctly, like our supply air temperature. There we go. One of the last things I want to do is show you guys how to actually update the firmware for these TEC thermostats, 3000 series thermostats. So the first thing you do is you get your firmware file from either, I think, Navigation Viewer, but I get mine from the license portal, the JCI license portal. And then for me, I put it in a folder on my USB drive, and then I just drag it out, the file, to the root of the drive. You'll see that there's 3 right here. I just do the top one. I haven't found a real difference in between them besides, you know, your firmware version. So I'm going to paste it to the root of the drive right here, just like my backup settings. There we go. All right. And we should be pulling this out of our laptop and bringing it back over to the TEC controller. Gonna put it back in just like restore. It's very similar, as you'll realize, just a different file. Gonna go back down to update again, and then this is the existing firmware version. You can see 4.0.0. Keep that in mind. Now we're gonna do load firmware. This is that was my file right there. I put it on the root of the drive. And now it's updating the firmware. This takes a long time, something like, gosh, I want to say like 10 minutes for this to go through. There was a couple times it stayed powered off for a while that I was a little concerned. I'm going to skip a good portion of this. I'm going to show you, I guess, everything you'll see, but it's in a much, much faster cut down version. So don't expect yours to go nearly as fast as this video displays. It will take much longer. And And there we go. My TEC's powered back up. I'm gonna go down and we'll show you that the firmware is now up to date. I put in 411, I think. 41. There we go. 410. Yeah, and that's all you gotta do.